There is so much more happening than just the black and white. Energy, intention, the truth of what we are and what we do and why we do things rang so loud that a lot of times you don't know why you are reacting or responding to certain things in this world and in your life and in your relationships. But what it is because despite what is being shown, despite how innocent something may look, there's something behind it and that we are sensing. And within that sensing, something is saying something's off. So my brother sent me this video, and there's a lot of Asian kids. They're deep into dance and deep into breakdancing, right from hip hop culture is where that is originated and cultivated and derived from. And it's amazing, like the energy you see, like just the bodies moving, and just feels good. It's super like uplifting, and just seeing where they've taken it. And it's a joy to see. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. And so I was looking at that and I was like, why do I feel so inspired looking at this? Why don't I feel like, oh, they're appropriating? Or you don't even hear people speak to appropriation in relations to the way Asian culture has really taken on dance, and a lot of it is hip hop dance. I'm like, I wonder what is that? Because you know me, I'm always about the energy behind things, the mindset. I'm always about the rooted truth of why we are choosing something or why things are, because we have to talk about what's behind what we do, the true essence of what we do. If we're ever going to really be in our highest integrity within ourselves and with other people, and if we're ever going to create a transformation in our world, if we're ever going to really truly evolve even within ourselves, you always want to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Something else is coming to mind to share with you as well, but I really want to just hone in on this piece. And the reason why when white America does something that is of Black culture, derived in Black culture, and that's where it has originated, there's an energy, like people are pissed. What is this? Why does this feel like you are taking from me? Why does it feel like you are taking from Black culture? And here's why. It is because of the energy behind it. Of course, it is also because of our history, but it's not only the history. It's not as if let's stay back there. Let's stay fighting. Let's stay separate. Let's stay in hate and blame. It isn't that. But with anything that you do in the world, if you have never atoned for it, never become accountable, compassionate, if you've never really fully stepped into that transgression in a righteous way, in a loving way, then the work is not done. And with white America, the work has never been done. Still today, as we close out 2022, we are still having conversations and some people arguments on if racism exists, which blows my mind, because anybody right, inhabits a body can just go walk on their porch and look out into the world and see the systemic racist program that has been the thread of our country and this global world is still in place. And if we know that it was in place when we were born, we know historically it was in place, and we have never overtly, transparently done any work to dissolve it, heal it, or remove it, why would we assume that it is no longer here? So these are just what I consider a reasonable invitation to look at things, and it's so that we don't continue the relationship and the dynamics of our past. But that's the energy. That's the real issue of appropriation and why it feels like such a taking instead of an honoring. I'm going to talk more about this because I want to give solutions. I want to share with people ways that you can bring in that energy of honor, and also say, well, we should be maybe if the Asians aren't triggering, why are we? Because you us, we have a history. And that history has not been positive. And we really need everybody to be present with that. Trust me, you can do hard things. And that will not only heal you, clear the energy around it, but it moves us forward. It takes white America out of the blame seat. See, the blame seat is hot because that's all people got. That's all we have because there's no progression in how we are approaching things, right? The blame is not needed when the group of people is stepping in and evolving and listening and becoming accountable, especially since, and this is like the most powerful piece, none of us that are listening to my voice at this time were here when slavery was in place, right? We didn't contribute to that. But we're here now. And so isn't it up to us to be a part of the healing, to be a part of the evolving, to grow up? The word maturity keeps coming to mind. So racism, the racism conversation is going to continue to exist until we actually mature, heal, open, and fully step into this conversation with a lot of compassion, with a lot of higher perspectives, working on our own triggers and really getting down to why things feel so off and are still so painful for so many people, black and white, right? So we want to speak to the energy of things, the construct of racism, the energy of the separation, the energy of appropriation, how a group of people that were not only intentionally enslaved, but beaten, raped, dishonored, mutilated, in some of the most heinous ways, their descendants that still live with that trauma in their bloodline are asking for atonement, are asking for maturity and love and compassion. And I am, at least on my platforms, inviting in a new way for us to be in union with one another, to understand the system and what our history has been, and actually step into what feels like such a difficult conversation in our world. It will free us all. And so there's just a huge invitation from a soul level. I've always said racism is a spiritual assignment, and I invite you into that. Thank you so much for listening. I send every last one of you so much love, and I'm so honored that you're here on this journey with me.